Welcome to Community, the TV show. I'm Kathy Antunes, guest hosting for Annette Sherman. Well, 2020 is the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage. Women in the United States now have been voting for 100 years. And here in the Suncoast in Sarasota, the Suncoast Commission on the Status of Women has been in existence since 1987, working to advance for the advancement of women. So with us in the studio today is the president of the Suncoast Commission on the Status of Women, Gini Hyman. Gini, thank you so much for...
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. And this is a big year for your organization. There's a lot going on.
Absolutely.
And you have a huge conference coming up. But before we get into all that, please tell us about you. You've lived in Sarasota for more than 50 years.
Yes, I came here as a very young child.
That's right.
With my parents.
Yeah. Okay. And what brought you to Sarasota?
My parents. My father was in construction. He was a contractor here. And so we moved in 1958.
1958. You've seen a lot of change here.
Yes, I have. And some of it has been very, very good, and some of it,
Yes, yeah. But you've owned your own, you've done quite a bit professionally, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been a realtor. I am a realtor. I'm a commercial and residential. I'm active in real estate. But when real estate took a dive in the mid-2000s, I had a little pet treat business, an organic pet treat business that I played around with because I have parrots and I have dogs, and we all know that they need to have absolutely organic and
Good
special
treats.
needs dogs, treats and stuff. And there wasn't such great treats out there at that time.
So you've had the experience of being both working in the construction, real estate end of our economy.
Oh, absolutely.
And starting
absolutely. I've
your
had
own
my
business.
own businesses. And I've, done a lot of things in this area, and also in the Atlanta area and in Tucson, Arizona. And then I came back home to raise my family. So.
And how many children do you have?
I have 3 daughters who are married to great guys.
Yeah.
And they all live someplace else. And so I do a lot of traveling because these 3 daughters also have 6 grandchildren.
Okay.
5 girls and 1 boy.
Yeah. So the Suncoast Commission on the Status of Women, how long have you been involved, and how did the organization get started? Why don't we start there?
Okay, the organization itself got started with Eleanor Roosevelt and John F. Kennedy. And then all of the states and counties and cities appointed commissions for women. It grew out of that. In Sarasota, it started in 1987.
Okay.
And it was part of the county commissions. It was set up as a separate commission, as is the Planning Commission, with Sarasota County. But they later decided that we were actually an advisory commission. But in actuality, we were not. We were a commission that stood on our own. We had 22 members. They were of a different socioeconomic age, ethnicity, levels of education. It was a great commission because it had a great cross-section of Sarasota County.
So basically what you're saying is this was a national effort that began in about the 30s or the 40s under FDR?
No, under JFK.
Okay, so Eleanor Roosevelt worked with JFK in the 60s to bring this about.
Yes.
Okay.
And they actually started it, and it took a while for it to take off. But there was such a need for women to be paid attention to at that time, and she was the one to do it.
Yeah, she was a force to be reckoned with.
She certainly was.
Yes.
So everybody emulated that, and that's how it started. Then in Sarasota, in the mid-2000s, 2005 to be exact, we broke away from the county for reasons
Well, we can talk about that because there was going to be a national convention,
Yes,
right?
yes, we had gone up to the national convention, a delegation of us. We raised the funds and we went because the county did not fund our commission. So we raised the funds privately. We went up to the national commission, which was held in Delaware, by the way, and we brought back the national convention for the following year.
So that was supposed to be in Sarasota, or that was the plan.
The plan was that it was supposed to be in Sarasota. We had gotten approval prior to doing this. Visitor and Convention, Virginia Haley with the Visitor and Convention Bureau at that time helped us with advertising and promotional materials, and we had one heck of a display up there, and everybody wanted to come to Florida.
Yes.
So we came home with the convention, and the Ritz was on board. It was going to be fabulous. And they estimated it was going to generate over $1 million worth of revenue in the mid-2000s.
Right.
However, the county changed their mind and decided they didn't want to do this. And they
so that-
reneged on their commitment.
And that was the impetus for you all becoming a more independent organization.
Exactly.
Because
I resigned, and the rest of the commission voted to dissolve our commission. And because we were not really an advisory commission, we were able to do that. So we waited a year. The county did nothing for the women. So we formed a 501c4 so that we could do education, research, and advocacy for the women of Sarasota County.
And that was
Now-
so
So that was in 2007.
okay. So tell me what the organization, whether since its inception, but up to the present day, what is the work about really? What have you focused
We're the
on?
umbrella organization for all the other women's organizations in the area.
Okay.
And we partner with League of Women Voters of both, well, at that time, of both Sarasota, Manatee, and Charlotte counties to present an annual, I don't want to say a luncheon, let's call it an event,
Okay.
that for Women's Equity Day every year.
Which
And
this
we did it
is-
for this is the 20th year we're doing it.
And this is the celebration
This is-
of women voting in
Right,
the United
this-
States.
Exactly. And of course, we always have a prominent speaker, and generally anywhere between 400 and 700 people attend this luncheon, depending on whether we're in Sarasota County or Manatee County.
Yeah, I've been there. It's a terrific event and wonderful speakers, and basically just talking about the roles that women play in the community
Right.
and how we can support each other in doing more.
Exactly, and we have about 35 organizations that have exhibit tables with information about what they do and what they do locally that people can take home with them. They don't sell anything. We don't allow any sales. So it's strictly an information and exhibit event. And we also have, we're nonpartisan, so we always have 3 tables, one for the Republicans, one for the Democrats, and one for the nonpartisans. And they all have to get together and put all their materials there.
Yeah, so it's a
And
great
that's it,
community.
and they're not allowed in the dining room.
It's, that's right. It's a great community event where you try to put the politics aside and bring everyone together
Oh,
around
absolutely.
shared
Right.
Yeah,
And
shared interests. So one of the things that you all have done, I think, was maybe the first thing that the commission did, was help women who were incarcerated in Sarasota.
yeah, that was the first time we got in trouble with the county.
Okay.
We found out that the women in the jail had absolutely nothing to do all day.
Really?
The men, of course, could do the road work, and they earned like $1.25 an hour, but at least they could buy soda or candy or whatever with that. And the women had no opportunities to do anything or obtain any kind of education or anything along those lines, or work skills. So we went to the county and we told them that, and they changed it.
Great.
So, you know, they weren't happy with us, but they changed it. The next time we got in trouble was with health care. We found out with women's health care that they had to wait 2 weeks to get an appointment with the health department. Now, even though the health department was run by the state, which still had local oversight on it. And to wait 2 weeks for an appointment if you have any kind of infection or
Yeah.
something going on is not a good idea.
Yeah.
So subsequently, they added 2 more OBGYNs to the health department after that.
So these are the kind of things that the commission focuses on.
That's what we did earlier.
Yeah. But the organization started in Sarasota and Manatee, is that right? And
Well,
you're
yes.
expanding, aren't you?
Oh, we did. We expanded. We went from being the Sarasota Commission to being the Suncoast Commission on the Status of Women. We now take into account Sarasota, Charlotte, Manatee, Pinellas, Polk, and Pasco counties. And we've reached out to all of those counties, and we have representatives in all of the counties that meet with us. We've changed our meetings from being in-person meetings on a monthly basis to doing late-night phone call conferences because that's the time that a lot of working women and mothers
The kids
can
are
get
in-
on the phone.
Kids are in bed.
Right,
Right, they
right.
can
And
participate.
lately, we're doing them on Monday nights, which seems to give us better attendance on our phone calls.
Yeah.
And then we do meet every once in a while. We'll meet in person. Most recently, we have been doing a survey. We've done 2 surveys, one in 2014, and we just did another one in conjunction with the Florida Commission on the Status of Women and the National Commission on the Status of Women. So we are now part of a national survey. If anyone wants to take this survey, it's closing out this month.
Okay.
So it's an opportunity to get your opinion heard anonymously. Just go to fcsw.net, and the survey is on that website, and it's the same one that we use. So
How would they find, should people, do you have a Facebook group or
Yes.
how do they get in touch with the
we're
organization?
certainly on Facebook. On Suncoast Commission on the Status of Women is our page name, and we follow all kinds of things, and there's all kinds of information there about what's going on locally as well as nationally. And if you want to go to our website and find out what we're doing and to get in on our call and to join our organization as an affiliate member, just go Google us. Suncoast Commission on the Status of Women, we will pop up. I
Okay.
guarantee it.
Okay, because it's a Google website, isn't
It's a
it?
Google website, so we pop up first.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So this expansion and the survey, this is all having to do with the
is-
centennial of
Right,
women's
and this
suffrage.
happened in the last 2 years that we decided to expand because so many of the counties defunded their women's commissions and dissolved them in the last few years. So the need is still there, but there was no governmental entity that was standing up for them.
So the private
we-
sector stepped in.
Right.
You've been private for a while.
Right,
Okay.
and we've gone through our own growing pains. We lost a few members to breast cancer and
I
other
remember
illnesses.
Jennifer Cohen.
Right, Jennifer
Yeah,
Cohen, Joyce
wonderful
Raby,
person.
Lee Levine, Hannah Honeyman. A lot of our members have
Oh,
passed
yeah.
in the last few years from various and sundry things. But we are strong, and now that we've expanded, we've brought in women from the other counties that are also strong, and so we are moving forward. And one of the things we're moving forward with is the convention or the conference that we're having from August 20th to August 23rd.
So this is a big event,
Oh,
right?
yes.
I mean, this is
this is going to be a state-supported event. Governor DeSantis appointed a suffrage centennial committee this year, and it's part of the Florida Commission on the Status of Women, and we are partnering with them to present this conference at the Hyatt Regency Sarasota in August. The Florida Commission will be having not only their annual meeting, but they'll be giving out their achievement awards to local people from the 5 counties that we I mentioned.
You represent.
And
yeah.
that'll be on Thursday. And then on Friday, we're going to have some 4 programs, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. There'll be breakout sessions. There'll be a lot of discussion. There'll be some interesting national people showing up that I'm not at liberty to
Okay.
promote yet.
Yes.
But they're coming.
Okay.
And we're also going to have the 100-year luncheon on Saturday. Now, we sell out this luncheon every year.
Every year.
This is a big event. This is, women want to be there. And men also.
Yeah.
We have great
the
sponsorship.
fellas come out too.
Oh, absolutely.
I've been there. I've seen
we
them.
have great
Yep.
sponsorship and a lot of support. So people need to get in on this early because we can only accommodate 500 to 700 this year. And
That's for the luncheon.
and that's for the luncheon. For the conference, we'll have information on the conference also. It'll be both on our website and also on our Facebook page
Yeah.
as we go along. We've got a great speaker for the luncheon, and it should,
Can you tell us who that is yet?
yes, Melanie Griffith.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So that'll be fine, and I'm not going to tell you who the honorary chair is yet, but we have 2 honorary chairs. We have 2 co-chairs this year. And as
Okay.
soon as we get that other one's firm commitment, I will be able to tell you.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's moving forward.
Well, the conference is going to be a great opportunity for networking for men and women who want to come together to support and celebrate what was a huge event in the history of our country. But do you have any idea about your seminars yet, and who's being invited to this conference? Is it mainly for the state of Florida? Because you're finally getting that big convention, right?
No, this is the second time we're getting the convention because
Okay.
we had the national convention here in 2014.
Oh, okay.
And that was pretty awesome. And we took them all over Sarasota, including at Moat Marine. And Dr. Clark was still with us at that time, and she received all of these women with her graciousness. And I ended up taking them on a tour because the tour guide had the flu. So since I grew up here and practically lived in Moat Marine when I was growing up and with my children,
Yes.
it was a big part of our lives. And
Yeah.
I did the tour, and it was great fun, and these women loved it.
Well, you come to your interest in supporting the advancement of women through, 3 daughters and 4 granddaughters? No wonder you...
And my own experiences growing up.
Yes, yeah, because you, as a business owner, that had to have been, you were kind of a groundbreaking person, right?
We can, yes, but we can go back further than that. But prior to 1970, women could not get a car loan. They could not get a mortgage. They could not get any kind of loan without the signature of their husband, their brother, their father, their uncle, or
Yeah.
someone else co-signing the loan for them. So, that was very frustrating
Yeah,
growing up
yeah,
as coming through your 20s when you wanted to do these things.
sure.
And I did do them, but you had to find ways to get around it.
Yeah.
I got a car loan through what was Sarasota Bank at the time from a loan officer that I was on the debate club with in high school.
So he knew you.
He knew me.
That
So we
helped.
used my initials, and we got the loan through.
Okay.
And I was able to buy my first car. And
So it really isn't, I think for many young people today to fully appreciate it, really hasn't been that long that there's been this very separate kind of approach.
Oh, right.
And your commission, the Suncoast Commission on the Status of Women, is really all about bringing
empowerment. It's
yeah,
about women's empowerment. It's about women's education. It's about research of the issues. And it's about advocating for those women that can't advocate for themselves.
Yeah, I want to jump, like one of the statistics I've learned, and I'm not sure, this was a while ago, but that, the education level of a mother is a huge factor in the well-being of the kids, or how far they go. And so the empowerment of women really helps everybody because, you know, if mothers are doing well, their children do well.
Well, not to get
do better.
religious, but
Yeah.
when Moses got the 10 Commandments, he brought them first to the women
Oh, did he?
prior to bringing them to the men.
Okay.
And the reason being is that the women teach the children
Yeah.
and are the
right.
foundation of the home and the morals and the ethics that go into the family.
Yeah.
It starts there.
So we all benefit.
So everyone benefits,
benefits.
the whole family benefits if the mother's on board.
Yeah. So who are you partnering with for this convention? Because there's a lot of other organizations in Sarasota that are taking part.
Right. Well, we've got the 7 branches of the AAUW. We've got
Which is, I don't even, tell me the
oh,
AAUW.
American Association of University Women.
Oh, okay.
We've got the League of Women Voters in all the counties, but primarily Sarasota and Manatee County. And we're working with the National Association of Women's Commissions and, of course, the Florida Association, the Florida Commission on the Status of Women, and several other, the Florida Association of Women Lawyers.
Okay. So this is pretty much, but you had mentioned Florida Studio Theater. Are they going to
Florida
be in there?
Studio Theater. Yes, I did mention the Oslo Theater may be on board. UN women will be on board. We're working with all of these various organizations, and we welcome participation from them.
Yeah.
We have several community activists that are also going to be having a part.
Okay. So if I live in Sarasota.
And of the universities, of course.
Okay.
All of our universities, New College and USF, Sarasota Manatee, and USF in Tampa,
Okay.
even though they're in Hillsborough County, they're going to be having a part.
Oh, well, that's great. And so for people who want to register to go to this convention and to network and learn, how would they do that?
Go to our Facebook page, go to our website, and eventually we are going to have more publicity coming out about it as we firm up all of our commitments. I won't say we're in the early stages, but we're in the early stages of getting the commitments and the contracts signed, et cetera.
Okay.
We're going to be at the Hyatt. We're going to have reduced rates for anyone that comes in from out of town or wants to bring relatives or family or friends in from out of town. I'm planning on bringing my 3 daughters and families in from out of town, and they're going to really enjoy this too.
Yeah.
So I think that the name of the game here is to get your registrations in early. Certainly get your lunch, if you're local, get that luncheon ticket purchased, because when we cut it off, we're going to cut it off and that's it. And
Yeah.
people, you know,
It's always a
it's
big
very hard
event.
to say no, but we
So
do.
What are you most proud of in your work? Because you've been doing this now for nearly 20 years with the Suncoast Commission on the Status of Women.
It's the growth and the caliber of people that we're dealing with on the commission, and the fact that it goes across everything. We have women from every aspect of life in Sarasota and every ethnicity in Sarasota, and as our needs change, we bring more people on board. We have lots of committees. Our overview is women in violence, because a lot of it, whether it's discrimination or whether it's lack of opportunity or pay equity or all of these issues, reproductive health care, it all comes under that umbrella. And certainly all of the big issues are being addressed. We partner with other organizations because we can't do everything ourselves.
Sure.
So we partner with other organizations, we participate in their events, and they in turn participate in ours. And we all promote each other because it's for the betterment and the empowerment of women. And in the future going forward, we know it takes 20 years, 50 years, 100 years to get some of these things accomplished.
Yeah, I knew someone who said, he was in women's health care, he said, you can tell the advancement of a society by how the position of women, the status,
Exactly,
just as you
the
say,
status
the
of
status of
women.
women in this society is an indicator of how well the society is doing. So this is important work. I thank you for
Oh, it's
for
our
all of
pleasure.
the networking.
And it's not just about women, because women's lives, all issues are women's issues. The environment, you know, if anybody's going to save the planet, it's going to be the women.
Well,
And they're coming out in force with all of our ecological disasters and our climate disasters and what's going on as far as health-wise and things of this nature. We were the ones that brought these issues to the table. And to see some of these issues that are being either rolled back or ignored is just abhorrent. So the women need to stand up and speak up. And, you know, even if it's to the person next to you in the grocery store that you see something or hear something, you need to stand up and speak up about what's right.
yeah, well, what's good for us all in our culture, in our society, when women are standing alongside their husbands and their fathers and their sons, brothers, you know, we're all in it together.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate the work that the Suncoast Commission on the Status of Women does to bring these issues forward and to advance really everybody.
Right.
Because it does help everyone.
And we work with,
So, go ahead.
all right, we also work with the homeless organizations in town and with a lot of other organizations that are right local that you can see
Yeah.
where the differences are.
Yeah. Well, Gini, thank you so much. I want to remind everyone that this conference is going to be August 20th to 24th at the Hyatt Regency in Sarasota. So this is a big event celebrating 100 years of women voting. Be sure to Google Suncoast Commission on the Status of Women. Thank you so much, Gini. Thank you all for watching.
The time really flew. We bid you adieu from community. If you want to know why we love it here, so check out Community. Well, it's a who's who, a what's, when, and where show. It's a mover and shakers who care show. Meet your neighbors and friends, each one has a passion. The topics vary from nature to fashion. The host with the most on our cultural coast is Annette with Community. See you next time.